Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to use one of the sets from the new mini catalogue, the July to December catalogue. It actually only went live in August. These catalogues were already pre-printed, and then Stampin Up decided that because of the shipping problems during COVID, they would have this starting in August instead. So if your catalogue says July, don't worry, it's still the right one. It's this catalogue, and I'm using this Whimsy and Wonder suite. And it's a non-traditional colour for me. I don't usually use these kind of pinks and sort of pale greens. I'm more of a red and green traditional Christmas person, or a navy person. But I really like the little stamp set with the dies, and these, I know you won't be able to catch them in the photograph here, but they're an iridescent snowflake and then a beautiful pink ribbon. It's the Blushing Bride, and it's sort of a little bit shabby chicish. You can fray it really easily, and the very edges of it look frayed. And I'm going to be using the Designer Series paper, and it's one of the speciality papers. And if a paper ever says speciality, it usually means that they have like a foil accent on. So this is the paper. I'll show you really quickly. And the colours in here, it always says on the back. So the colours in here are Blushing Bride, Crumb Cake, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow and Polished Pink. And you can see the ones that I've used, but let me show you the whole sheets. This has got like an iridescent kind of look to it as well, the same as the snowflakes, and it's got this lovely striping on the back. I am using some of this today. And then there are the holly leaves and berries with a pink, almost like a bleached look on the back. Then this tree with the iridescent foil accents, and I am using this one today as well, and it has the green on with that same kind of bleached or worn look that the pink one had. These little gifts, they're really good to cut out, and you can cut them out, stack them on dimensionals so that it looks a bit more 3D. But look at that pretty holly on the back with the pink berries, not red. This one, I am using this one, but I'm not using the stripes. I'm actually using the spotty side. And these, I love these. I love all these little ornaments, these ones with the flowers and the ones with the little deer look. And then blue stars with trees on the back. So I'm going to pop these away so that I've got a little bit more workspace. And so, as I say, I'm going to use the stamps, but I'm really only using the sentiment. I want this sentiment, the wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. I want that one, and then I've got the matching dies. I'm not cutting out any trees or anything. Oops, what I've used, well, I am cutting out trees, but not from stamped images. I'm using these little trees that they're not part of the stamp set. They're just cut out on their own. And here's the smaller one. Can you see how it's got these little holes behind? And then I've cut another one in Mint Macaron, and it's got the little, like the little chevrons, the little, what would you call those? Well, it is a kind of a chevron, a W or a V. Okay, so they're all the bits I'm using. I am using other things as well, but just not from this set. So this is the base for my card, and I use this as a template lots of times. Sometimes I will put this on an angle, sometimes I'll have the piece of card going across, sometimes I might do it the other way. If I want to put a big sentiment down here, then I might do it just a little bit higher up so I've got room for my sentiment. But today I'm going this kind of an angle, from left to right. Okay, and these are going to be my swap cards as well. So I have a whole pile of things just ready, but I thought I would show everybody how I made them to start with. So I've got basic white, and I've only got the thinner basic white. I'm not using the thick today. Let me just get a bone folder for that. Excuse my reach. And then I know that it's nicely folded and burnished. Okay. Check on my blog. I'll have all the measurements there. But this is just half a piece of card folded in the middle. And then I've taken 2 of the designer series papers that I showed you. This was that really shiny one, and this is the one with the trees on. And all I'm going to do is pop those onto here. When you put them on, you'll notice that there's a gap at the bottom, and that's perfectly fine. That's just how they should be. It's so that this little piece will go across, and it's a little bit more of an economical way to cut it. You're not using quite so much paper. So let's glue these on. Now, this is a really pretty paper. I'm liking this one. And I think actually it's one of those sets of papers where you could use any sentiment, because there are such great pictures or images on this paper. You don't need much more. You don't need any more images. Okay, it just came out of there. A little bit too much glue, but never mind. I'm going to use that dotty side. And I'm just going to make sure that I've got a little border at the bottom and the left and the right, the same as I had at the top. Okay, so don't worry about that gap there. Okay, now I've got a little piece of mint macaron and some of that snowflake paper, but I'm using the other side. I'm using this side. And I've got it cut so that there's a border top and bottom, but you haven't got a border at the left and the right. And that's because once we put it on the card, I'm going to trim it down anyway, so you wouldn't see a border. Let's pop this on here. So it will go all the way up to the edge, onto the short edge, and just give you a border top and bottom. Okay, now I'll wait for that to dry for a moment or two, and I'll show you what else I've used. I'm just going to get my dies out. I used the circle set, and I've used, let me see, the 3rd largest circle and the 3rd largest scallop, and they just sort of give you a nice border all the way around. So I have pre-done some of the cutting, and I've used that scalloped circle to cut out in one of the new pink colours, the polished pink, and it's the same pink that's in here. And on basic white, I stamped the sentiment that we're using, this one. I stamped it and I cut it out with the die, and I left it so that I had a little plain white space at the left-hand side. And so it looks like the sentiment is like squashed over to the right-hand side, but that's because we're going to put those trees there. Okay, so I'm not going to attach that just yet. I'm going to put the trees on first because they do overlap the circle a little, and I just want to be able to trim it easy enough. Okay, so I'm going to put, I might pop them on with dimensionals actually. Let's find my scissors, see where I've hidden them. I know they're around here somewhere. You can probably all see them, and there's only me that can't, but I can't see them, so I'll get another pair. Let's see, I might be able to, oh no, that might be a bit long. I think it will, because it will overhang. So I'm going to pop them on with glue instead. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit at the bottom of the tree and some down this stem. And then I'm just going to put my silicone mat underneath, just in case the glue goes over my grid paper. I'm going to put it so that the right-hand side of this tree goes over, oh, I don't want to go over the writing, but goes over towards the right-hand side where the writing is. So it's just above where the sentiment is. Now I've got a little bit of glue there. When it dries, I'll go over it with my little glue eraser. Okay, so there's one, and I've then got the one with the longer tree trunk in the mint macaron. I'm just going to pop a little bit on, and I'm going to put it so that it just overlaps, just a little bit. Good job I did put that silicone mat down. So I do have some glue there. And then I'm just going to trim that little stem off. Let's throw that one away. I'm going to get my glue eraser. Is this dry enough? Oh, it's not quite dry enough. I'll come back to that. I'll attach the whole thing to the backing scalloped circle. And I chose this just because it was one of the colours in the paper. I could so easily have chosen, you know, the Fresh Freesia. Oh, I don't think it is Fresh Freesia. I think it's Blushing Bride. Or the blue, which I think is Misty Moonlight. Or either of the greens. Really doesn't matter which one you choose. Okay, right, let's try and... That's better. Let's get my glue eraser and remove that glue. Just do a little bit at a time. There. And there's just a little bit there. Now these little erasers are invaluable for little gluey accidents. I actually bought mine on Amazon. Stampin' Up don't sell them anymore, but I really hope they're going to bring them back. So I do use it a lot. Okay. Now, this little piece, like I said earlier, you can put it straight across if you want. You can have it at an angle like this, as long as you're covering over the gap. Or I'm going to put all of mine so that they're sloping from left to right. And the only thing you have to be aware of is trying to get the little corner edges on the very edge of your card. So let's have this stuck down. There is a little tiny bit to trim off, but nothing major. So then, I don't know, I think I might have it going that way actually. I just need to make sure that it's going to cover the gap and that the corners just hit the edge of the card there. That's it. And then I'm going to open it up, and the little pieces that overhang, I'm going to trim off with my paper snips. If you feel more comfortable cutting, you could put it in your paper trimmer and just trim down there as well. But it's only a very small piece to cut, so it's not too bad. If it was the full length of the card, then I would probably put it in my paper trimmer. Okay, yeah, that looks just how I want it to. Now, I'm going to pop this on, and on these cards, you can choose just where your sentiment wants to go. If you have part of an image that you don't want to see, you know, you can pop it over the image. If you have a lot of white space or dark space, you can put the sentiment down further. I'm actually going to put mine across here. And let me see. Probably each one of these that I make, it'll be in a slightly different place. I think I'm going to put it there so that we've got the pink on either side. And I'm going to put this onto dimensionals. So let's use some of these edge pieces. Oops. Cut a few bits off. And let's see, let's pop another piece through the middle. And take those backings off. I just need to make sure that the writing's straight. And there we are. That's my little card all finished. Now, if you wanted to step it up a little bit, you could add some rhinestones, pop a few on here, and another one, you know, on one of the papers. You could do an embossed backing if you wanted. You could emboss this card across here. You could even make it another layer, so you could make these 2 pieces of paper 1/4 of an inch smaller and then emboss another white layer to go underneath it, and that would look really pretty too. You could even add another paper. You could have a different backing paper or a border around, and use maybe a dark colour base. So lots of different ways to step it up and make a change. You could put, you know, like a little bow on here, lots of things. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you have this set and the paper, it's such an easy card to make, such a great layout. Thanks so much for watching me, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Take care. Bye bye.